Hi, welcome to FuturePic's Fireside Chat. I'm Ursula Zilling. I guess many of you have heard about or maybe even visited the beautiful Mediterranean island, Malta. Their national carrier, Air Malta, decided to use the pandemic in order to accelerate their digital transformation program. They have just launched a whole new digital experience and a platform called Triplake. I'm happy to welcome to join us here David Turton, the CTO at Branchspace, the brain and driver behind what Triplake does and ensuring that the implementation worked in a record timeframe. Thanks for joining us, Dave. As the CTO of Branchspace, what does keep you awake at night?
Hey, Ursula. I guess the first thing is, as a dad, my one-year-old daughter, she keeps me awake all night. But look, CTOs at different organizations mean different things. My role here means I'm responsible for a few different things. So firstly, that the engineering team that we use to build and evolve Triplake, our technology platform. Secondly, it's the direction of the technology and the product itself. Mm-hmm. And thirdly, it's to support the production operations of Triplake once it's deployed to customers like Air Malta. So I guess the most urgent thing that keeps me awake at night is making sure that the production system is running very smoothly, 24/7, 365 days a year. And I think we do a pretty good job at that, but it's something that means you can never quite relax. It doesn't matter how much preparation or monitoring and alerting you put in place. It's something that needs to kind of keep you on your guard. More kind of medium to long term, I think the things that keep me awake are just making sure that as a team, as an engineering team, that we have good communication, that we all feel like we're heading in the same direction and understand what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And the team stays as aligned as possible with the direction of the product, which sounds easy enough, but it can be quite challenging at times. So that's it.
Exciting. So what is Triplake really about? What is the idea behind Triplake?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, Triplake is a digital experience platform. It allows airlines to deploy really advanced, great user experiences to their customers across different touch points like booking, servicing, check-in, desktop, mobile, apps, etc. Our goal with Triplake is to provide airlines with better flexibility in managing and deploying and evolving these touch points. We find that other vendors in this space typically are much more constrained. It's much more expensive or slow to make changes, even very small changes. And it's very difficult for airlines to really take their retailing to the next level, like selling more products, be it their own products or third-party products, whether it's personalization of these experiences. So our goal really is to allow Triplake to be a lightweight, flexible platform and do all of that in a very kind of agile and quick manner.
So let's take Air Malta as the example. What exactly did you do with Air Malta?
So our journey with Air Malta, in a sense, has just begun. So last year, we embarked on the implementation of the first phase of our project with them. But our roadmap with Air Malta continues for the next few months and hopefully years. We are effectively, with Triplake, replacing all of their digital touch points. So the booking flow, servicing flows, check-in flow for desktop and mobile. We've built out a member experience application. We're currently in the process of building out their new mobile apps. Mm-hmm. And there's quite a lot of other features to come. So the goal for Air Malta is to effectively have their customers engage them in a very highly usable and very consistent experience, whether they're going to the website or whether they're going to the apps. So to really let Air Malta give the best experience to their customers and allow them to advance their retailing. So sell more products, do personalization, cater for different types of closed user groups, and give those closed user groups different kinds of benefits.
I know from my own times in Malta that it's quite a diverse traveler audience. So there's quite a significant share of business traffic because there's a big gambling community and all kinds of other businesses. But actually, primarily it's holidaymakers, but also quite diverse with quite a high share of really seeking additional comfort, wanting to travel as seamless as possible, others who just look for the best rate and travel very lean. What does that mean? What opportunities does Air Malta have now, given that huge diversity, number of different personas, to really make a difference?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So Air Malta have a lot of different markets, even as I guess a relatively small airline compared with many in Europe. It's breaking down the market simply like inbound and outbound, but also different countries throughout Europe. And within those different segments, business travelers, family travelers, etc. So one of the big frustrations Air Malta had before bringing in Triplake was that they couldn't really cater for those different markets and differentiate the offering to them in any kind of way. So one of the things we bring with Triplake is our dynamic retailing capability. So Air Malta can set up different personalization segments, like a persona, define the conditions for which a particular customer matches that persona, and then they can use that to control the outcome as they interact with Triplake. So they can change which fare families customers see depending on who they are. A business traveler might get a special fare family that includes some additional ancillaries, or they might be able to offer or highlight and promote certain types of ancillaries later in the flow to a family traveler. So they can really, they have defined a very large product catalog in their PSS, and through Triplake, they can control how that catalog is offered to customers in a very, very targeted way.
Mm-hmm. And how did that whole process work to implement this? And does Air Malta already see any results from these changes? Because everybody claims that they've got dynamic capabilities, and personalization has also become a little bit of a buzzword. So are there already any kind of moments of truth which show whether it really works for them?
So we went live with Air Malta, I think in August last year, and that included a lot of different initial versions of the Triplake platform. Since then, we've gone through a period of stabilization, and now we're starting to add more features and build out new touch points like the mobile apps. The next thing that we're doing is actually embarking on the journey you've just talked about, Ursula, so the optimization journey. So Air Malta, with our help, are starting to map out different kinds of changes in the experience that they'd like to see. And through Triplake, they would then define what audiences would see those different changes. And it's not just about how you display certain products in a certain way. It could be a completely, any kind of change in the booking flow or the check-in flow, for example, and use rules to control who actually sees that particular optimization. It's a journey. I say it's a journey because in reality, time is needed to validate that each change is actually effective. Obviously, the more and more you start to target certain functionality to different audiences means you're starting to run lots and lots of different experiences in parallel. But you need to be able to test with audience traffic whether a rule that you've just deployed is actually being effective. So with Triplake, we have an experimentation layer that Air Malta can use to target certain changes in features to a particular audience, like 10% of their customers or 10% of a certain type of customer. And once enough traffic has gone through that particular rule change, it could be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc. If the results are good and statistically significant, then Air Malta then might decide to roll that rule out to their entire audience. So it's the start of the journey. And yeah, our goal with Air Malta is to map out a set of priorities in terms of how to start to play with the experience.
So it's also a kind of a learning process and for the team, and at the same time, the experimentation, how to get the best results and the best experiences for the customer, and also generate the best revenue options as a result.
Exactly.
And I know that Air Malta was also very excited about being able to control more of what they do instead of having to wait maybe sometimes months or longer, and also having to pay each time intervention by their suppliers and partners. Is that also something which is in progress and which was implemented? Do they have control about their proposition?
Yeah, absolutely. So as part of our deployments, Air Malta get access to our Triplake management console, so they can log in and without any involvement from Branchspace, manage things like CMS content, so translations, text, images, etc. They can manage certain business rules like how payment options should be displayed, which PSPs should be used in which situations. And they can also control these dynamic retailing rules, so setting up new personas and controlling the experience that those personas will get when they interact with Triplake touchpoints. So they have access to all of that. And yeah, our goal, we obviously work with them to talk through any particular type of change that they want to do, if it's a more significant change, and sometimes give them feedback on different ways to do things. But our goal with Triplake is to give them everything out of the box that they can manage themselves as much as possible.
That's great. It means true commercial flexibility as well. I guess a lot of the questions that complex network airlines have, and Air Malta is kind of a very good example, I guess, having all of the complexities that you can imagine from a traditional network airline background. What would you recommend where to start with a digital customer experience journey?
It's an interesting question, Ursula, and I'm not sure there's a specific correct answer. And I say that because we talk to a lot of different airlines about the struggles that they're facing, the changes that they want to make in their digital experiences, and the frustrations that they have. And I think while there are some common themes, every airline is a little bit different. And what I mean by that is, for example, some airlines are very, very hesitant to change or interrupt the core experiences like the booking flow or the check-in flow, because maybe they've invested so much in what is there today, and any kind of interruption could cause issues that impact their customer service or impacts their revenue. And they'd rather play with, I guess, less critical touch points, like maybe introducing mobile apps or replacing their mobile apps and starting from there. Other airlines have been more willing to try to change some of these core flows. Some I've spoken to have thought about maybe not interrupting the booking flow, leaving that as it is, but replacing the servicing modules with something that is very, very focused on ancillaries. So Triplake is very modular. We don't have any constraints really about how it is deployed for a given airline. If they want to just take our booking flow, or just take our check-in flow, or just take our mobile apps, or just take our website portal, that's absolutely okay. Obviously, we think they work very well together, and together customers can get a really great, consistent and engaging customer experience. But we're willing to start the journey absolutely anywhere.
Great. What is your vision for Triplake? What's on the roadmap?
So we've got a big vision and a long roadmap. I think in some respects, while we've invested a lot in our platform to get it to where it is today, we still have some grand plans to expand the functionality. So we today have a website portal, and I'm just going to name some of the key touch points: website portal, booking flow, manage my booking experience, check-in flow. We're building out our mobile apps. And this year we plan to be completing a loyalty integration experience and a B2B experience. As part of all of this, we want to continue to expand on the dynamic retailing capabilities of Triplake. So today we have some great tools to let airlines define personas and control certain outcomes. We eventually want to effectively let an airline control every single part of the experience. If they want to change for a particular customer, this banner or that component or this shopping cart, all of that they should be able to do through the Triplake management console that I managed before. So we'll progressively implement more and more of these personalization effects. One of the biggest next areas we want to pursue is making this personalization much more real time. So it's really great that airlines can jump onto Triplake and set up these rules to control how personalization works. And it's all live, it's all quick, but it requires manual intervention to set up the rule. It requires manual monitoring to make sure that the rule that has been deployed is working effectively. So we have some analytics that allow them to check that. But it needs the manual intervention. So what we plan to do is actually incorporate reinforcement learning into that process. So effectively a category of machine learning that will allow Triplake itself to experiment on its own. And in a much faster time frame, work out which types of changes in the experience are driving better outcomes. And that outcome could be measured based on metrics like conversion or attachment rate or shopping cart value or anything we happen to choose with an airline. So that's really exciting stuff. I think there's some really big brands that use this technology to good effect, but it's not really a tool that airlines have had access to with existing vendors in the space. So we're quite keen to incorporate that kind of machine learning capability, hopefully this year.
This could be a game changer, and I guess not only for airlines, but also other travel stakeholders. Unfortunately, our time is almost finished, and so I just wanted to see, how long do you still stay in Australia, Dave? I think you have been traveling for the first time for a couple of years to be able to see your family again.
Yeah, I came here about 3 weeks ago, first time in 3 years. So really great to introduce my Sydney family to their granddaughter or niece or whatever. And it's been fantastic catching up with everyone. After a couple of weeks of vacation, I'm now working from Sydney, trying to match up with the European time zone and head back to London in a couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you going to the beach still tonight?
It's almost 8 p.m, so I think I've missed my chance, but I hope to be there tomorrow morning, Ursula.
Great. Thanks so much, Dave, and see you soon in London.
Thanks, Ursula. Bye.
Bye.